oh, it's Pan-African TV. As if you have not been going to other TV stations. Whatever that is the magic way. Thank God for the progress and for the discussions. It means that people understand our programs here. So good morning to everybody. We are back again. And we will break the issues down. These are facts about the NPP. And how we are going to move and how we are going to move the economy from its junk status to an economy that will be welcomed by the people through resetting Ghana. That's going to bring jobs, accountability, prosperity, as has been scripted in our manifesto. A manifesto that's like a savior for the people of this country, that every institution must be reset that has been destroyed, willfully destroyed by this incompetent and family and friends government. So for me, it's about time everybody joined to ensure that we win these elections.
Right, okay, thank you. It was just an introduction. Let me also introduce Mensa Thompson of ASEPA. Good morning, Mensa.
So, because you saw Mensa, you have to throw me out.
Oh, when you say, I think you are being unfair to me when you say that.
I've said it.
Honorable, he was me. I like fighting. So if you try to bring the fight to me, you will regret bringing the fight to me. Because I love fighting. I love fighting. Someone will tell you, oh no, I love to fight. You know, I love to fight sensibly.
And I love to watch.
This morning.
How are we? The last time we met was when we had dinner somewhere.
Yes.
I don't want to mention where.
Yes. We haven't met.
We've not met since
a while.
Yes, we haven't.
But this weekend you have to come home.
I should come home.
You know, Tuesday was my birthday.
It was?
Yes.
Wow. This just
no, I posted you. I posted you. Charlie, you know the economy, so
I'm telling you. Sometimes you'll be holding your phone.
You are looking for the phone.
Yes. That's how
Charlie, I thought I was alone. It's not easy, my brother. It's not easy at all.
So tomorrow we'll do some small work at home.
Yeah.
And then some small chop.
Oh, the chop there is important. Let me respectfully just say that you are welcome.
Thank you.
And also to say that, look, I am elated, seeing you, because I've not seen you in a while.
Yeah.
And also, particularly also because I know that you have been fighting for the country. A lot of the times, people do not necessarily appreciate the things that CSOs do in this country, and the firm contributions that they make, in furthering and advancing our political, experiment. Indeed. So, I am particularly elated that, you consistently, without fail, without being paid, without any support, you try to, at the very least, push government to be accountable to the people, because that is what politics is all about, and that is what governance is all about. So I am happy that you try, with the little resources at your disposal, to expose some of the political ills we have in this country, and also to bring proper accountability to the doorsteps of the Ghanaian people. And to that end, I'd like to say Ayiko to you. And more grace to your elbows.
Thank you. I think the CSO space has shrunk in the last 4 years. You know how the CSOs came in the 90s during Rawlins's era, and so where there was perceived lack of freedom of expression and free speech, and that civil society began to, come in very strongly to open up the space. And so, our democratic space have largely opened up due to the contributions of CSOs. I think that over time, I don't know what happened, but it looks like CSOs went to bed.
Yeah.
I
think it's just the partisan inclinations that people do have. If you ask me, my genuine feeling is that it has shrunk because of the partisan inclinations.
It's just one of the elements of it. You see, you know, the CSO, we are like the media.
Yeah.
Largely, a lot of the work we do in the CSO space are sponsored by international donors.
Yeah.
The Ghanaian businessmen have not cultivated the culture of supporting somebody like Soros, a billionaire in America, put up $1 billion every month to support CSOs and think tanks and other interest groups.
Right.
In Ghana, we don't have our billionaires taking interest, and so politicians. And that's how politicians are able to manipulate, infiltrate. Okay, and also the international donors who also bring in the support have their own agenda that they are pushing, and sometimes they are forcing you to a certain direction. A critical example is this LGBTQ thing. In fact, they brought huge sums of money.
Wow.
And if you don't support the LGBTQ, you won't get some. And so a few of the people who were able to throw their face out, they got a few millions to support their work. You know, and so the international donors also have their own agenda. They have their own economic interests they are pushing. And so sometimes an issue will come, you step in, and then your donor will call you. Okay, so I think that now Ghanaians have begun to understand the important role. Some of the feedbacks we get, it means that now people have understood that CSOs are part of the democratic institutions and agencies in this country.
Right.
Now, what is left is for Ghanaian millionaires and businessmen to be able to cultivate the culture of supporting CSOs and their work, so that it reduces our reliance on international donors and also reduce the political infiltration that happens.
All right. Sabo, KWAME. Let's go to Nigeria. You know, you look like a Nigerian. So let's go to. Let me read a little bit.
Exactly.
Nigeria's military on Thursday said that it and Niger's military junta had pledged to resume and strengthen security collaboration despite extremely tense ties in the aftermath of the last year's coup in Niger. The top military commanders of the two countries had held talks in Niger's capital, Niamey, the previous day. Both parties reaffirmed their commitment to resuming and strengthening collaboration with a view to ensuring regional stability and security, a Nigerian military statement said. This time last year, I beg your pardon, the neighboring governments were openly threatening or at least warning of military confrontation. Bilateral ties had been positive overall since the two countries' independence, but they saw it last July when the head of Niger's presidential guard, Abdurrahman Chiani, led a coup against the man he was charged to protect, elected President Mohamed Bazoum. Niger's junta then proceeded to start expelling Western forces from the country and turned to Russia for support. West African Regional Bloc ECOWAS was at the time under the leadership of Nigeria's government, having already seen similar Russian-assisted coups in Niger's neighbor Mali, Burkina Faso. ECOWAS tried to pressure Niger into restoring civilian government. ECOWAS sanctions led to Nigeria closing its borders to Niger, but they reopened earlier this year. Nigeria even warned of possible ECOWAS military intervention, and ultimately Niger, Burkina Faso and Mali all left the bloc entirely in January, having been suspended from it temporarily and having set up a defensive alliance of their own, the Alliance of Sahel States. Despite these tensions, Niger did not withdraw its soldiers from a Nigerian-led task force fighting the Boko Haram Islamist group in the country's shared border. However, Niamey did reduce its military participation in the task force's operations to a minimum. According to the Nigerian statement, on Thursday, Niger reaffirmed its readiness to resume active participation in security cooperation under the multinational joint task force. Sabo.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Let's take this opportunity to say good morning to my co-panelists. I think My brother, this is the first time we are meeting. Yes. But for him, there, me and him, even from here, we'll go and continue in the north. And Kwame,
so
you are the reason why I now have confidence in the space of the legal distance.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, I know whenever I'm in trouble, you are there.
Absolutely.
Inshallah. And I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to see you go far in this particular profession. Let me say good morning to our flag bearer, His Excellency Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Oh, you speak for the NPP?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Hey, he's the Great Accra Regional Communications Director of the party.
Oh, okay.
Yes, he's not a small man.
Oh, okay.
Well, I do have a problem with the MPP.
No, I don't have a problem.
I see.
Hey, so I won't be smart too.
I'm just surprised. You know, when I see people who are speaking for the government, I just get surprised.
I see.
Not surprised.
Oh, I see.
Someone is a senior member.
You're a brave man. You're a brave man, my brother. Shake me.
Oh, yeah, let me shake you. Let me shake you. Let me shake you.
He's very brave.
He's very brave. Kwame.
Nobody can intimidate this one. So if you think you can intimidate,
No.
By shaking his hand.
We've just started. So maybe as we move along, he will get to understand.
yeah.
But I don't see him to be somebody who intimidates. He doesn't intimidate
He's
at
not
all.
aggressive. Yeah.
At all. Kwame, with regards to Nigeria and Niger, and West Africa, I've been thinking. I believe all, member states of ECOWAS enjoy their sovereignty.
Absolutely.
And I believe under the umbrella of ECOWAS, we also have some shared responsibilities that we need to also, play. And I am of the view that with what happened in Niger, Mali, and then Burkina Faso,
Yeah.
to me, it makes people within the sub-region to lose some sort of confidence, either in the efficacy of whatever policies that are put in place to protect this sub-region, or the leadership of the West African listen. I say this because our thinking was that if anything like this is going to happen in any of the member states, then the mother organization will come in to make sure that lives and properties are protected within that particular system. But that is not what we are seeing in these three countries. Having said that, I don't know. I'm not a diplomat. But I don't know. Besides the sovereignty of a nation, once you have decided to join a particular organization, there may be the ruling or whatever policies that the organization will bring up should be able to find your sovereignty under the umbrella of that particular organization. In other words, maybe surpasses whatever that you think an individual country has the right to do. As far as the group interest is concerned,
Yeah,
you
not entirely.
Exactly.
There are some areas where you may want to defer, but generally every country has its own sovereignty. Yeah.
And that is where the difficulties are, because sometimes people sit down and look on because of the sovereignty issue and other things. And it is our money that is used to run this particular organization. And it is in our interest that the organization exists. And yet it has come to a time that we want this organization to come to our aid, and it's an issue. Let me just bring it closer to the main decision itself. If you look at Nigeria and Niger, I think they have a lot of commonalities, especially the northern part of Nigeria and that of Niger.
Southern part.
And even you see families in Nigeria, and some of them too are in Niger. And then cultural, they seem to the same thing. Their economic and social cultural, this and all are intertwined, and then this. So whatever is affecting Nigeria and Niger is like the eye and the nose. Whatever is affecting or is happening in Niger, especially the northern part of Nigeria, in fact, has some sort of adverse effect in Nigeria. And you'll be surprised that breadwinners in Nigeria normally have their companies or whatever in Niger.
True.
Yes, though you see him as a Nigerian, but whatever he's getting is coming from Niger. The same way to somebody from Niger, but everything that he's earning is in Nigeria. Another thing. So definitely, it was something that Nigeria didn't take kindly. And Nigeria also being a big brother and ECOWAS, of course, many countries were also looking up to Nigeria to see how Nigeria can also intervene. So when indeed Nigeria tried and then the Nigerian did not give them, of course the big brother was a bit, if for lack of better words, not happy with what actually was going on in Nigeria. But thank God that now they've now found space to come together to see how best they can charter the path.
Yeah.
But having said that, I still do, if you look at the reasons why led to this particular coup, to a large extent, you might say that, I mean, the coup makers have some positive points here. But regardless of the positive point, what I'm saying is that coup is a coup. It doesn't matter whatever reason that created that particular reason. There are so many other avenues that we can resort to. So we should find a way as a sub-region to condemn this particular action totally. And I also think that ECOWAS should also try to enact a law. And then this kind of personal bodyguard, because if you look at what happened in Guinea, I think the same thing. That he was also a personal bodyguard to the president. To have a kind of a law, once we have accepted to protect the president and whatever, regardless of whatever happens, you don't, I mean, come closer to be the one to overthrow the president. I mean, it becomes criminal even if you get involved in this kind of this thing. Otherwise, you end up getting enemies, subscribing themselves like they want to be the personal bodyguard. No, I mean, having in mind what they want to do in the near future. I don't know. In fact, I'm not a security expert, but as a lay person, I can foresee in the near future that many people will go into the military, or even they are already in the military, but if they start thinking of taking over the country, I mean, in the near future, they will also find themselves into this kind of, what do you call it, duties of this kind of personal bodyguard or whatever. Or if care is not even taken, future president may lose interest in the uniform, and rather even try to create their own personal bodyguards. Because history has indicated, if you observe the recent coups, mostly there are people very close. I think even Thomas Sankara, even as far back, it was the same thing, that kind of thing. So if there can be some sort of law that will bar whoever accepts this particular duty, that regardless of the situation, regardless of how severe the situation is, you should be seen at all times to be protecting the president. Because that is what you are meant to do. And I don't know whether they normally swear an oath to protect the president or whatever. Otherwise,
the military people.
The military people.
But how for oaths there, Charlie? Most people don't respect oaths.
But I agree with you. But if we understand the essence of swearing the oath, then I think, well, I really want to. I get your point. I agree with you. Your point, yeah. Yes, not. I mean, all men are not the same. Yeah. And like the way I value certain things, others don't see anything. Yes. But at least there should be some. Of course. Okay. So now the legal listen. That was some law should be enacted to bar people. I mean, if you accept this duty, then it's a straight jacket something. Whether the president is doing something good or bad, yours is to protect him. And then, even if necessary, rather bring him safe to the law, so that the law will rather deal with him, rather than subject him to some sort of inhuman brutality or torture, like what has happened to these presidents in all this country. And like I said in my preamble, they might have had a case, but the approach is totally wrong. And I don't think in any circumstance anybody should encourage coup d'etat in our present day governance.
Politicians must also learn to reduce their opulent lifestyles, when they get opportunity. Because look, Sabo, it's like that your people are struggling to feed, they're hungry, and then you are demonstrating pure opulence opulence, like plain, brazen opulence.
No, Kwame.
It angers people. That's what infuriates people.
That is why there's democracy. That is why it is periodic. It is not like when you come, it is forever. The people are given an opportunity to observe you and see as a leader.
Even the democracy you are referring to, Samuel, with respect, people have questioned the kind of democracy we are practicing on the continent. That democracy must not necessarily be a sort of detached ideology or system practiced within our countries without necessarily understanding the elements of it, because and I think I hold that view that democracy must necessarily spring from the cultural values of the people. But what do we, 4 years, then somebody will come because they know they have 4 years, will come and mess up, misbehave, and even during elections, the systems are not functioning properly because they would have taken control of the institutions that are supposed to ensure that the elections are run properly, and they will continue to perpetuate their stay in power. And these are the things that anger. Like for instance, Togo, just here. You know what is happening in Togo. The president has found a way of changing the constitution. So if it gets to the point where the military says that enough is enough, get the hell out, what wrong have they committed?
Then, like I was saying,
yes, sir.
If from now onwards we have certain laws, because of course today the kind of democracy that we are practicing is, guided by law. Is that not it in this country? That you should be this kind of person before you can even stand for this particular position. And these are the perimeters within which you can operate as a leader. And that is what all of us are doing. And don't forget that today as we speak, not only in Africa but the whole world, we have now we are all practicing this kind of open market system. That it is the consumer who has the right to choose what he wants.
Yes.
It's the same way when you bring it to the political sense. It is the voter who has the right to decide who should lead him based on whatever you are selling to the voter.
I agree.
And I'm saying that we also have laws that hold us responsible of the promises that we made to the people. Quite apart from that, the program itself or the exercise or the system itself also allows the electorate to also either change his mind or to affirm whatever decision that he made earlier on. Yes, but I agree with you that when it comes to excesses, and then maybe extreme excesses, and then maybe if care is not taken, maybe the country can be taken to the intensive care units. And maybe by that time things will get out of hand. There should still be a legal framework. Of course, in this country, they can, a president can be impeached. Is that not it?
No, indeed.
Of course. So that is, which means when we get to such stages, then we can
explore that
to Parliament and do that.
I agree.
But resorting to arm to
I
me,
agree.
it's not
I agree.
anything.
And this is not me. This is not me supporting coup d'etats. I'm only saying that even in our constitution, Article 57, I think 5, right? 57 clause 5 talks about how the president personally cannot be prosecuted, whilst still the president of this republic.
Exactly.
And if anybody wants to bring an action, it has to go through the Attorney General, etc. And even after the president has left, right, you cannot bring any action against the president until after 3 years. And even those actions, you cannot bring an action against the president in relation to, his position, the performance of his duties as the president. But if in the performance of his duty as a president, some people suffered loss, some people died, some people, were maimed, others were, you know what I mean? You cannot bring an action in respect or in relation to. So the way we see democracy and the way we practice democracy is what is creating this unsettledness, for which reason people think that sometimes when push comes to shove, we must take the laws into our own hands and do what is right for the people, right? I'm not supporting coup d'etats, but I think
I get you.
We need to get to a point where politicians will also feel that they ought to be, even without the people asking, accountable to the people, and demonstrating that accountability.
We want to also appreciate the framers of the Constitution who actually brought this particular law. That time with that number has always revealed that sometimes we are quick to judge, only for time to reveal that we were wrong. of what we're doing.
Indeed.
Quite apart from that, the president is at the center or at the apex, and he has lieutenants who are working for him. And whatever suffering that we might have undergone through was not directly from the president, but it was an indirect distance, because you could have, suffered it from a particular or under a particular ministry, of course, and because the president being the final distance. So maybe the framers of this particular law look at it with time. Investigation will have been made to get to the logical conclusion on that particular item, so that after 10 years or 3 years? 3 years. Yeah. So that after the 3 years, they will have been certain of how to approach the whole system, than to rush. Because sometime in Africa, you agree with me, the passion is so high that we normally do certain things only to realize that, in fact, we made a mistake.
Thank you, Sabo. I'll be coming to you very soon, Mr. Thompson. But let me just quickly say that I have some wonderful news. You know, in this economic difficulty, invariably creating stress in this country, sometimes you need to go for some leisure activities, just to unwind, just to distress, just to relax and come back to work. And I'm happy to announce that Ngosra Travel and Tour Limited is providing you with that service, you know, of you just traveling around the country, sightseeing, mingling with people, relaxing, you know, so that you can be re-energized and come back to work. Okay, they are saying that there's going to be 4 days coastal wave tour, and it's on the 19th of September to the 22nd of September 2024. Now, they are visiting some places, and you know, whether you've been there or you've not been there, I think that if you are going N block, it's good, you know. So they're going to the Nzulezu village. Nzulezu, you know, do you know Nzulezu? You've not been there. You see, you've always been seeing it on TV. You need to visit it and see it. It's beautiful. Cape 3 Point, Turtle Soil Conservation, Bisabrewa Museum. Hey, where is that one? That one, I don't know. Even me, I have to go there. Bisabrewa, I'll visit Bisabrewa. Cape Coast Castle, I've been there, but I will go again. Kakum National Park, I've not been there. All these years, I've not been to Kakum National Park. Asen Manso slave rider. Hey, there was a slave rider in Asen Manso. Hey, I don't know. I need to know my history. So listen, it is 4 days. You know, 4 days you can go visit these places. At least it will serve as a reminder of who you are as a Ghanaian and where we have come from as a people. Okay, so that will also inform you, even advise you on who to vote for in the upcoming elections. Because when you go, you reflect on the journey of this country and the sacrifices people made to ensure that you who's watching me this morning, you got the opportunity to enjoy the democracy, or you've gotten the opportunity to enjoy the democracy. It is expensive, but not too expensive, okay? So we are looking at 5,920 Ghana cedis. If you are just you know, like me, for instance, I'll go alone. So it's 5,920 Ghana cedis. Now, the good news is that when you pay the 5,920 Ghana cedis, it is covering your transportation, it is covering your accommodation, it is covering your food, photography, live band music, bonfire, cooking competition. Wow! I won't say only, because right now 5,000 is money, but you know, in order that you can distress, is good. 5,920 Ghana cedis. The payment covers transportation, accommodation, food, photography, live band, bonfire, cooking competition. That is if you are going alone. You pay 5,920. But if you are going with your wife, your girlfriend, your fiancé, then you pay 11,440. 11,440 Ghana cedis. 11,440 Ghana cedis. That's if you are going with your wife, your sister, your cousin, your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. Then you pay that. For more information, please call them on 054 031 2294. Again, 054 031 2294. Call Ingosra Travel and Tour now. Tell them you got their number on Pan-African Television and tell them Pan-African Television said they should give you a discount. And they will give you a discount. All right? Let me come to you, Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Briefly, because there are serious Ghanaian topics that we have to also discuss.
I mean, there's a very interesting topic to discuss, you know. But, you know, I've always placed this whole blame game always at the doorstep of our regional bodies like ECOWAS. You know, why do we have this problem in the first place? In the first place, a coup happened in Guinea, and by virtue of being the chairman of ECOWAS, the president of Nigeria decided to issue threats and unnecessary sanctions on Niger without going into the bottom of the matter to ascertain the conditions that precipitated this whole coup in the first place. And that has always been the character of ECOWAS leaders. You remember when the coup in Mali happened? The same thing. The coup in Guinea. Let me use the Guinea one as an example. The president amends the constitution. His tenure has ended. He's supposed to exit. He amends the constitution so he can have a third term. When he was doing that, ECOWAS was quiet, pretending as if they haven't heard what was going on. Instead of ECOWAS to step in at that moment and say, Jack, these are the things that, in fact, 99% of the coups that has happened in the sub-region in West Africa has always been a president changing the constitution and trying to give himself another term when he doesn't deserve it. Especially when they have performed so badly that they know the people want them out. Now, change the constitution, organize a fraudulent election, declare himself winner, and guess what? The chairman of ECOWAS at the time, President Nana Addo Kufuor, flies from Accra to Guinea to attend his investiture. Can you imagine? And these are the reasons why anytime these things happen, ECOWAS has been very weak and they are not able to intervene. Because how can somebody, a certain president, change the constitution, organize a fraudulent election, declare himself winner, and instead of ECOWAS to call him to order, the chairman of ECOWAS fly to his investiture? You know, and so when you do that now, what you tell the citizens is that ECOWAS is a group of old men who are protecting themselves, trying to protect themselves in power. And so ECOWAS, which is supposed to be the peace building and economic prosperity bloc for the sub-region, has become, you know, a cartel of old men trying to entrench themselves in power. And so anytime these things happen, ECOWAS is not able to intervene. And when they intervene, in fact, they always get it wrong. This Niger issue, ECOWAS' approach right from the beginning was wrong. And that is why the civilian government led by Tinubu is there. Why is it taking the Nigerian military to reach out to the military junta in Niger to be able to build a peace bloc? Because the civilian government have failed. Okay? You know, you see, let's put democracy in context.
Right.
Democracy military rule or any form of government is about one thing. It's about legitimacy. Legitimacy to govern. And legitimacy only springs from the people. It is only the people that can grant you legitimacy. And so you realize that the civilian government that was overthrown in Niger, even though it was an elected government, so-called, didn't have legitimacy.
Agreed.
And so you saw the uproar, the excitement, the public support for the coup. What is democracy? It governance from the people, by the people.
That's even a Western democracy.
Yes, it doesn't matter how you come into government. Once you enjoy legitimacy of the people, because it is through that legitimacy that sovereignty springs from. And the sovereignty springs from the people. So, a coup happened in Niger with enormous, in fact, overwhelming public citizen support, endorsement for the coup, indicating that the existing government has outlived its usefulness and support. What does ECOWAS do? They give Guinea ultimatum, the military junta who took power, ultimatum to hand over power back to the civilian government they overthrown. And then, when they began to kick the foreign interest in Niger out, ECOWAS began to issue threats. So I was wondering whether ECOWAS has now become a spokesperson for France. I was shocked whether it was Economic Community of West African State or Economic Community of France State. These Western companies are in these countries exploiting their resources. Uranium that is used to power France's electricity, which was selling at the time over $500 per ounce. They were buying it for $80 and $50 in Niger.
Oh yeah. I be Africans there. We any edge me.
Okay? And in spite of that, over 60% of the people in Nigeria don't have electricity. Meanwhile, France's light is on 24/7. The people say they are tired of this kind of governance. We want a governance that will put the resources and the prosperity of the country in our hands as a people, not in the hands of foreigners, not in the hands of imperialists, not in the hands of oppressors. ECOWAS say, no, continue to suffer, live. If you are suffering, keep quiet, sit down, leave the corrupt civilian government to continue to govern you and suffer. Let them continue to give your uranium and your resources to France cheaply. You know? So when you conduct yourself like this, you lose influence. And that's why ECOWAS is losing influence. Nobody excuse my language, nobody give a shit about ECOWAS now and their threats. At least the coups that have happened on the continent in the last few years have exposed the weakness of ECOWAS. That they are toothless barking bulldog. They can't bite, they don't have any powers. They're just a group of pot-bellied old men sitting there drinking tea and talking. They come and sit down, they talk plenty, nothing happens. The people of West Africa begin to suffer from unemployment. The young people of West Africa are disillusioned. The ECOWAS was put together to consolidate the economic prosperity of West African people.
Conclude for me.
But now, ECOWAS has become a tool, a vehicle that is being used to push the interest of the same imperialists, and the young people are suffering. If that suffering doesn't stop, those coups are not going to stop today or tomorrow, and they are going to continue to enjoy the legitimacy of the people, and nobody, including ECOWAS, can take that away from the people.
Thank you very much. You're still watching the News Preview segment here on Pan-African Television. Now, interestingly, Ambassador Sampiale has rendered his unqualified support to what I suggested to you earlier, that you must try and, distress by going on this tour with Ngosra Travel and Tour. Indeed, he is saying that, I said I didn't know where Bisabrewa is. And then he said, Bisabrewa there is very simple. It's the museum that was created by the Venerable Kwawansa. And it is at Nkotomopo, near Second D, Iftian Kwanta Hospital. Please, that museum is a must for every Ghanaian. So I think that based on the admonition by ambassadors and PLA, I will visit Bisabrewa Museum. I will do that. Now, this morning, I am happy to say that my nephews and my niece are watching the morning show this morning. And I'm happy that they are watching the morning show this morning. It gives me so much exhilaration. So I want to say a special good morning to them. Special good morning to Kwabena Iwua Bosompem. Kwabena Iwua Bosompem. Efua Adobia Bosompem. Efua Adobia Bosompem. Inshra Kwesi Bosompem. Good morning to all of you. You are watching me. Uncle loves you very dearly, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. But a big one to my uncle, Edmond Bosompem. I call him Brady. Brady, good morning to you. All right, so let me come to you, Honorable, and then we'll look at the Ghanaian story. So I think you have to be brief, because, see, this man took all the time.
Yes, and I think that his time was worth it, because he talked about legitimacy.
Indeed.
And democracy is not just about voting, but implementing the content of democracy is the key. Absolutely. It's not just about queuing to vote. When the wishes and aspirations of the people are betrayed in a gargantuan manner like we have it, the people have no option than to exercise that supreme authority. You're a lawyer, I told you. I'm telling people that the fundamental law of every state is the Constitution.
Absolutely.
But you see, when people betray the Constitution, there's a much higher power, which is the people, which rests with the people. And when people go to queue and exercise their vote, they are thinking that their lives will be better than what they were when you come to power. And when you come and it's complete betrayal, it's about family and friends, it's about state capture, it's about corruption, mismanagement, even gag in the media. What do you think the people will do? They will explode, just like it happened in Sri Lanka under Rajapaksa, just as happened in Bangladesh. It has happened across the globe, and it's going to happen unless, and of course, let me put it this way, Gabi Ochidaku said what? That the ECOWAS president, you must be corruption soaked and power drunk to be an ECOWAS president. That statement is treason yesterday and is treason today, because Nana Addo became the president of ECOWAS, and under him, this was what happened. What is different from what happened in all these cool areas than what has happened to our country now, today, this morning? Tell me, what has happened that the trust of the people in Ghana have been betrayed? The confidence, and people are not even, people can even just openly say that they would prefer a coup d'etat than a democracy. Where did we go wrong? Where did we go wrong? We have people marauding like Democrats. They take power, and these are just nothing but demagogues. They take up power and they turn around to subjugate the people and to use the resources to the benefit of they and their family alone. And trusted power, you are using as if it's inheritance. You are using the power as if it's inheritance. Where did we go? And we get ECOWAS leaders. In fact, I think ECOWAS has a protocol, a law that says that 6 months to an election, you should not tamper with the electoral roll and other safeguards that is going to mar the elections. We've seen it in this country. As we talk today, 8 people died in this country for someone to become an election. As we talked this morning, Abdallah Yarik, a cousin of my son, was among the 8 people who died in Tichiman. Cold-blooded, 18-year-old boy. And as we speak this morning, no official has gone to see even how this small boy was buried. brother, yet we can go and take George Floyd's funeral. George Floyd funeral from the US. Come and work mourning cloths at the flaster, at the expense of the suffering people of this country. Whom are we deceiving? You think the people don't know? I was telling him this morning that the young people of this country now have access to much more information and superior argument than we, those who are older than them. We shouldn't take them for granted. They have access to technology. At the clip of a knob, they can tell us about history and all those things. And we must be careful. You have ECOWAS leaders who will sit down. Like Thompson said, go for inaugurations, go and break champagne bottles, drink, and congratulate someone who has willfully subverted the processes of democracy.
All right.
Just for him to enjoy.
Thank you.
And that enjoyment is just for family and friends. State capture of resources. He talked about uranium. What is happening in this country, my brother? Look at what is happening. Every state institution has been captured and given to very close friends and family, even to the neglect of the party that brought them to power.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Good morning.
It's an important topic, like he said. But,
thank you. Good morning to you, KOD. Please tell Sabo that we have had enough of the Gary and sugar mills and for presidents to display opulence like we are seeing in Ghana. Then we shall continue to admire the military. Ni Mensa at Spintex Road sent in this one. This one is from Prosper Gasu and Loga Volta region. MPP tradition are the originators of coup d'etats in this country. But now that they are in power, they found everything wrong with coups. This one is from my uncle, Reverend Father Jojo Jepi Gabra. Good morning to you, KOD. Tell us about that when conviction come into the play, oaths become non-essential. No matter how loyal a bodyguard is, when it comes to action, it's no holds barred. My uncle, Reverend Father Jojo Jepi Gabra, sent in this one. Musa Abatwa, I don't know whether you watch the show to send messages or you just send messages every morning when you wake up, because your message is at complete variance with what we are discussing this morning. Okay, people are sending me messages that are not related to the first topic. So let's proceed and look at the other topic. Now, it is very instructive that we are beginning to have discussions about how politics should be viewed and practiced in this country, particularly in the Fourth Republic, in this Fourth Republic, Republican state, especially in 2024, how politics must be viewed and practiced. And I'm excited to say that Mr. Chachuchikata, who is very respected in this country, has had the occasion of commenting on policies, promises, and funding. Indeed, he opined. I was supposed to go for the event. I completely forgot that 2 days ago was yesterday. I mean, it was Wednesday. I completely forgot, so I couldn't attend it. In fact, I really wanted to attend because I was specifically invited to. So let me apologize to Niade, my learned colleague who sent the invitation. It completely escaped me. I really wanted to be there. However, we have the benefit of what was said by our very senior Chachu Chikata, and he's saying that provide funding sources for promises. And this is off the back of the campaign promises which have engulfed our political narrative in 2024, particularly in 2024. In fact, this is a phenomenon that started in 2016. And now we have seen that it is growing and growing and growing and growing. People are making so many promises. President Mahama is on record to have indicated that in his first 120 days, he's going to create more jobs. He's going to review the economic policy programs. He's going to bring back the country's economy on track. So many promises, right, within the first 120 days. Of course, he said he's going to have a lean government. That is feasible because obviously, if you don't have your cabinet, you can't operate as a government, right? And then he says that he's going to pay for fees for first-year entrance into the universities and things like that. These are all brilliant, good policies, right? But oftentimes, what is missing in the promises is a complete, exact identification of where we are going to get the money from and how we are going to get the money for the purposes of funding the promises that we are making to the good people of Ghana. And I'm starting with you, Mensa Thompson, that I hold a view, I have this inkling that we've gotten to the point where we must move away from just the rhetorics, okay, to a point where we can now show working by demonstrating to the people where and how we are going to get money to fund the promises that we are making. It's not enough that you come and tell me, I'll provide you a mug. How do you intend to do that, and where are you going to get the money from? Let me start with you.
Well, I think a few of the promises that I've had a conversation about the funding sources for it. I think on the other hand, it is Dr. Bawumia's promises that have not been put to so much scrutiny, and I don't know what really the challenge is. You remember when the NDC announced the free first year fees?
Yes, please.
For first year students. Mm-hmm. Yes, I think that the first question everybody asked was that the country is broke. Where are you going to get the money from? And the conversation we had was that, one, they were going to decap the GET fund. So the currently GET fund has been collateralized, you know, and it has been capped by about 40% or so. And so even at the capped rate, it will take about 9% of GET fund resources every year to pay for first year free senior high schools. But when they decollateralize the GET fund, it will take a paltry 4%. You know, I think we can look into those conversations as well, and see how feasible is that. GET fund is a statutory tax; it is levied on everything we buy, and so the proceeds go into other issues. You see, more importantly, what is going to be very, very instrumental in this election campaign will be credibility. Mm-hmm. Will be credibility. You know, sometimes you make promises, and even to some extent, people know that it's an overreaching promise. The credibility that you have enhances the believability of the promise. Okay? And I think politicians should be given a chance when they assume government to fully assess the extent of the economy, the extent of our assets and liabilities and financial position as a country, and realign it with their promises. So, for example, when the NPP promised free SHS in 2016, we asked them, how are you going to fund it? They were all over the place. They said at one point they said we were going to use gold. At one point they said they were going to use oil, proceeds from our oil. At one point they said they were going, they were all over the place. It's been 7 years into the implementation of free SHS. We don't have a single policy document for free SHS. A policy document that talks about the structure, the implementation strategy, the sustainability plan, including financial backing for the project. We don't have it. And it has been same with a number of the policies they've implemented. Up to date, we've been asking for the policy document for gold for oil. It's non-existent. Meanwhile, the Vice President is telling us that over $3 billion of Bank of Ghana's resources have been pumped into the Gold for Oil program. What is the policy guideline? Governance is a continuum. Tomorrow when somebody takes over from you, how do you expect the person who has not seen the policy document for the program to be able to continue with the policy? And so I think it's a very feasible, it's a right thing to ask for. Mm-hmm. But I think the critical conversation really in this election won't be what is going to be your funding for the things you are promising. Mm-hmm. The critical question is, do we believe the person making the promise? Is the person making the promise trustworthy? Does the person making the promise, based on previous performance, has the capacity to be able to deliver on these promises? You know, and the promises, you know, but Kweku,
Kwame.
Sorry, Kwame. What is going to be the deciding factor in these elections? This election won't be about who will be able to promise heaven and earth. This elections won't be about a promise competition like in 2016. This election will be a referendum on the verdict and the suffering of the people. Kweku, this election, sorry, Kwame, I don't know why I keep calling you Kweku. Kwame, this election is going to be about credibility. This election is going to be about corruption. This election is going to be about the standard of living that Ghanaians have been subject to in the last 7 years. This election is all going to be about economic freedom and sovereignty. This economy is about relieving the captured state institutions for family and friends back in and put prosperity back in the hands of the Ghanaian people. And on this note, I want to serve a caution to the Electoral Commission. We've seen a number of things going on, because when politicians realize that the narrative are against them, then they want to manipulate or try to use state institutions to try and move things in their favor. We were just talking about coup and how other African countries were subject to so much suffering. We were just talking about legitimacy. That it is not only election that gives legitimacy to people to rule a country. It is not only elections. So if somebody think that by all means or at all costs, and we've seen people stand on platforms that they're not going to hand over power today or tomorrow, they're going to do everything at all costs to win the elections, to remain in power. We've seen the president, the commander-in-chief himself, saying that he will never hand over power to anybody apart from Dr. Baumia, apart from his candidate. I want to use this opportunity to caution them that you cannot rule any country without legitimacy. And it is not only election. Election alone doesn't give you legitimacy. Legitimacy is not granted by the Electoral Commission. Legitimacy comes from the people. So if somebody thinks that, oh, I'm going to manipulate the elections, put some numbers out there and come and govern this country for the next 4 years, you are joking. Kwame, they are joking. Let me just be blunt. They are joking. It is only the person who has the legitimacy of majority of the Ghanaian people. This election will only be successful if it reflects the aim and aspiration of the Ghanaian people. If anybody thinks that cooking up some numbers, putting ghost names on register, duplicating names, doing illegal voter transfer, and concocting numbers and on the 9th of December come and announce some figures and then hooray, you are president, you are joking. That is not how to become president. To become president, you must campaign and solicit for the legitimacy of the Ghanaian people.
Right.
If you don't have that legitimacy, you have no business being there. So they should be mindful.
All right.
Of this interesting aspect of democracy that we keep talking about.
Thank you.
Politicians always lose sight of this fight. They think that, let me go to elections, let me put some numbers out there and I'll be president.
All right.
It won't happen this time.
Thank you very much, Mensa Thompson, for that beautiful submission. For those of you asking for the number of Ngosra Travel and Tour because you want to be part of the Coastal Wave Tour, the number is 054-031-2294. 054-031-2294. And I told you that for single pairing, the amount is 5,920 Ghana cedis. And when you pay this amount, the payment covers transportation, accommodation, food, photography, live band, bonfire, cooking competition. And the places that you'll be seeing are in Zulezu Village, Cape 3 Point, Turtle Soil, Conservation, Bisabrewa Museum, Cape Coast Castle, Kakum National Park, and Asen Manso Slave River. So you want to be part of this 4 days coastal wave tour. Kindly give them a call. When you call, tell them you listened to the advert on Pan-African Television, and that is why you're calling them. And I said that they're going to give you a discount when you let them know that Pan-African Television, you got a number from Pan-African Television. Let me come to you, Sabo, respectfully on this subject matter.
Yes. Kwame, thank you. I think we need to ask certain questions regarding this particular statement. We all know Jaju Chikata, and then we know his political orientation very well. What has informed him to come up? Of course, I agree with him. However, we should also try to find out why this time. Because he's been around all this while. And this is not the first time presidential candidates are campaigning and making promises. I think it will, and of course, at what event or occasion did he say this? Maybe it will make us better understand where he's coming from.
Okay.
So these are just questions that I want the viewers to have in mind whilst I make my submission.
An event that was held at the University of Ghana Law School. Center for Social Justice, yeah. They organized it. In fact, I was invited, I told you, Center for Social Justice Leadership Dialogue Series 14. The topic was, can Ghana rise from the ashes? This was held on Wednesday. Law Faculty, University of Ghana. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it because...
if that is where it emanated from, then I think it is a genuine concern.
Right.
It is not
politically
motivated. Exactly. Political decision. And of course, that's a very good call for all of us. There is this saying that if you want to know the road ahead, ask those who come in. And then, as in account, they say that am I right?
Yes.
If we are to do some sort of comparison with regard to promises made by political parties in Ghana and fulfillment of those promises, then I think the NPP as a party stands tall. And then there are empirical evidence that I can speak to and other issues. One of which is the recent one, that is prior to the 2016 election, like he was saying, we promised Ghanaians free SHS, which became an issue even beyond the borders of Ghana, that many people, even non-Ghanaians, didn't believe that this is something impossible in Africa to happen. The flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, is caught on many tapes trying to poo-poo the whole thing. And even after the implementation of the program, he still went round to tell people that the money that is invested in it could have been used to do other things. Only to make a U-turn this particular election, that he can even do it better. There should be a review and what have views. Yes, people questioned the source of funding. I think when we came, all the economic indicators were pointing downwards, 2016. And these are facts and figures that I'm talking about. Up to 2019, from 2017 to 2019, we all saw the improvement in the economy, with even the free SHS on board. We saw the improvement. I mean, talk of inflation, talk of what they call the depreciation of the cedi, I mean, talk of GDP growth, I mean, talk of what they call deficit and all whatever. All, I mean, we outperformed the John Dramani Mahama government. Today, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia Alhaji is making other promises, like the physically challenged to have free tertiary education, and also come out with a policy of a quota system in government institutions where this physical challenge will have space to be employed immediately after completing or finishing their national service to work. And I believe these are all things that Ghanaians want to find out how is it going to be done. And nonetheless, he's been going across the length and breadth of this country explaining to Ghanaians that I have done it before. That's why I'm saying if you want to know the road ahead, ask those who come in. We've been there before. So we going back there is not a news. But you, those who are yet to go there, you need to learn from us and ask us, how did we do it? When we go into our various manifestos, let me just take our 2016 manifesto and that of the 2012 manifesto of the NDC and look at the promises we made and how we fulfilled them. Go and check. The NDC couldn't cross 20% of the promises they made in their 2012 manifesto. And check in our 2016, the very current, we have been able to fulfill 80% of our promises. You can call them names. You can mention, do any, even free SHS. Of course, they were saying students are fed with rotten food. Students are what do you call, most of the fee are not even paid. Parents are not paying PTA. What I mean, so many things going around, and the rest. But today, as you speak, Kwame, at least you've known me. I was a teacher. I'm still a teacher, all right. It's that I'm not in the classroom for now. I have taught students, 5 students using one textbook. Those days, one textbook given to 5 students, chalks. It got to a point that we teachers were buying chalks to go to the classroom and teach. Why was there not a president in this country? Was it not the responsibility of president? Didn't he promise us that he will make sure that our educational system will be very, vibrant and other things? So I think what Chachukata has called for, basically he's saying that bring these flag bearers to a round table and let Ghanaians watch them, and they should tell Ghanaians how they are going to fund this thing. And that is the debate John Dramani Mahama is running away from. This is where all these things can be actually espoused by these, leaders. So I fully support for this call. And I think the best place for Ghanaians to have the full benefit of this call is to bring all of them to a program where they will debate their manifestos or programs.
Dr. Bawumia is saying he's going to pay the chiefs and traditional leaders living allowance. So once you are here, can you tell us where it's going to get from?
That's what I'm saying. Listen, I think Dr. Bawumia has promised to pay
chiefs and
not chiefs, not all chiefs.
oh,
That is
and then
chiefs.
and then queen mothers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So no. So don't say chiefs, because even me myself in some contests I'm a chief.
Yeah.
How are you getting me? So he was very specific. Divisional chiefs. And Kwame, you agree with me? In fact, I think the influence and let me just use the word, for lack of better word, the influence of our chiefs today, with all due respect, seems to have been watered down with the political atmosphere. Even at a point in time, sometimes it's like DCE or MCE, whatever MCE says, even carries more weight than a whole chief in a village. unlike before, the books that we have, some of us are a bit older, how we came to meet that even if there's an issue. In fact, in the north, he's here, he's a northerner. In fact, if your colleague took you to the police station, you don't have any enemy on earth like such a person when the chief is there. That we could have gone to the chief and resolve it in our own way. You decided to take me to a foreigner or somebody, I mean, that's how, in quote, to resolve this issue. How are you getting me? So that kind of power was there in our chiefs. But it came to a time, and you agree with me, today in Ghana, nothing is done, especially leadership, without money. Money makes you lose the quality of the leadership that you could have been able to put in front and ahead. No, let me come. You are just asking. So the chief, to also be able to discharge his duties well, because the chief will go to farm, the chief will also, I mean, if he's a blacksmith or whatever, we have our chiefs who are also professionals in other things or traders in other areas. How they are getting me? So it doesn't even give him the time to also concentrate on how to develop the community and other things, because he's also have family and the rest and other things. So just that's why it is termed living allowance, just to give him an allowance to be able to bring all this in. And don't forget, the chieftaincies, this is part of the governance system that we are this. No, in fact, though that's just I've just given you an answer. So and of course we are talking of funding this thing, and I believe that is where your problem will have come. And don't forget that if the chief is able to bring the people together and the people are what do you call it, get rid of whatever problems that they were having, it will also give them that ambience to be able to work effectively to contribute to the national what do you call it, quota and other things.
The funding source is what I'm asking.
No, that's what I'm telling you, that when we were coming on board, you people questioned the funding source of free SHS. And I'm saying that with even free SHS on board, from 2017 to 2019 until COVID-19 set in, we outperformed the previous government. And quite apart from that, we also brought on board nurses allowance, teachers allowance, which hitherto all this money was going to other areas, and yet the economy was not performing. Well, we brought all these things on board as a burden on the government, and yet the government outperformed than the John Dramani Mahama government. So I'm saying that I don't think this particular issue is directed at us. And I'm saying that the best way to honor this statesman is to organize debates among these flag bearers. For them to tell us, we the electorates, that how are they going to fund those promises that they are making, so that the whole world will listen to them. And then you need, please, if you don't need a debate to tell them, you don't need a platform to go around and be telling Ghanaians what we are capable of doing if they should elect you to. There's no need for campaign. If you don't need a debate, there's no need for campaign. So you definitely need a debate, because Ghanaians want the best, and Ghanaians deserve the best, and the best must come from the best ideas and the best people. So I strongly believe, and I share, and I agree with Chachu. I think, like, sometimes we can even call him his eminent, because if you look at the level of this and that he has achieved, in fact, had it been because of politics, this is somebody that we should have been celebrating in this country. I hope you are getting me. And I strongly agree with him, and I think you the media can also add your voice to it, for our elder brother John Dramani Mahama to give up his decision of running away from the debate, and rather prepare himself to come to the debate, so that these issues can be explained to Ghanaians.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Sabu. You're still watching the This Private segment here on Pan-African Television. My name is KWAME Osuda. So we are streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook as well. So for those of you who are watching us via those platforms, kindly share the feed so others can get the opportunity to contribute to the conversation. Alhaji Hamza in Pig Farm this morning has sent me a message. Good morning to you, Alhaji. Good morning to you, my brother. Congratulations for taking the bold steps to petition the office of the SP. You have demonstrated to show you are really a citizen and not a spectator. As a journalist, you have a responsibility to inform and educate the public, and that is exactly what you are doing. Journalists have the responsibility to hold government to account to citizens. Accountability is key to our economic development, and that is exactly what you are doing. My brother, are you aware The air conditions that was placed on the renovated hostels have been removed from the buildings. Check for yourself, my brother. I'm proud of you. Keep it up. Okay, thank you very much. Since I picked this fight up, I will definitely follow up and go to, because I was there, I think, about some few days ago, to go and check. I'll go there and see whether or not they've removed the air conditions. They've removed the air conditions, yeah. So I'll go and check. Let me come to you, Timothy.
You see, I think that Chachu Chikata's call is not born out of the vacuum, but out of tested politics and then the real results that we are seeing today. Really, we must provide funding for the promise, because just some few years ago, some people told us that they were not going to do borrowing. They were going to move the economy from taxation to what? Production. Really so. They were going to ensure that there's stability in the exchange rate. So they even condemned the fact that the cedi was the dollar was $1 to 4 cedis, if I may. It was 3.9, but let's even move it to 4 cedis or even 5, so we don't have any problem.
In their defense, they said taxation to production. We didn't ask them which type of production. Maybe it was taxation to production of more taxes.
Or corruption. Corruption to its production anyway, but it's the negative side. These are people who told us that they were not going to borrow. They were just going to toll the roads and construct roads in this country. And that borrowing was a lazy man's work. And that some people were incompetent, name it. But ironically, Thompson, the balance sheet that we left for them, President John Dramani Mahama left for them, was what they used to borrow. They went to the Eurobond market with it and borrowed 11 billion, total of $15 billion. When they handed over to themselves, after the 2020 election, when they went to the same market to borrow, they were sacked. They couldn't even borrow $1, as we talked this morning. So Chachu Chikate's fears is right. As I talked to you this morning, Thompson, the total revenue accruing to this government in terms of taxes, in terms of grants, in terms of loan, is 1.1 trillion Ghana cedis. 1.1 trillion. When we're leaving office, are you listening to me?
I'm listening to you.
We left the infrastructure fund, 270 million. Where is it today? Sinking fund has accrued over $500 million. Where is it? Stabilization fund, $300 million. The UGMC that we built, because you must invest the money in capital expenditure that will be able to pay itself off and then generate employment and increase your revenue. Even UGMC, the total revenue they gave it to government last year was 300 million Ghana cedis. I'm even coming there. The Tema Port, the expansion, the MPS, it generated over 800 million. They paid $250 million as dividend to government. Go to that trouble gas, how much we are making from, as I mentioned the amount. As I mentioned, Terminal 3, John Dramani allowed them to use the bank's own, the company's own balance sheet to borrow and pay, and then build Terminal 3. We extended it to the whole airport. These are all income generating. It has employed people. The trouble guys employ people like, and there's also Bimpa, who is always insulting John Dramani Mahama. The airport tax-free shops has been given to the president's daughter and other MPP duty-free. This is what. And when you leave a country, you leave both the liabilities and then the assets. Are the assets able to stand on its feet and borrow? This is what we look for. That is why we are, in fact, Chachu Chikata call is coming at a time that is very necessary, because we are left with 99 days to election to liberate the people from the fangs of corruption, from recklessness, from mismanagement, from state capture, the capturing of state resources, the minerals resources, the gold for money. We can go on and on. The litany is uncountable. Would you allow me? I'm responding. I'm responding. I'm responding because yes. No. That is it.
That's how he has chosen to.
Even that is it, because we are dealing with revenue. We are dealing with funding. We are dealing with funding. No. Sabo, I must tell you, because when you were Chachuchikata is say. So when I finish, you write. If you don't have a pen and a paper, I can give you. You write. You see?
Don't worry.
You see, why did Chachukata say that? It's the despondency. It's what you people stood for and came and then hoodwinked people and sent people to their graves. As I talked to you this morning, this economy is junk. So his fears are that, what are we going to do after 2025? We can't borrow 1 peso. We have to go negotiating with our external financiers. Locally, we've done haircut. People's investments are gone. People's lifestyle have been stolen by corruption, by thievery. Nothing, there's no word you can describe. We gave you revenue buffers. You squandered. ESLA, Get Fund. The Daichi bonds at Get Fund, my brother. Get Fund is almost collapsed. Look, we all contractors in this country over 15 to 20 billion for work done if not paid. So Chachuchikata's background is coming about the accumulated debts that we have. But you know, we brought Get Fund, so we know how to do it. Because when John Dramani Mahama took over, and then the indicators will let for you. The indicators will let for you. When you took over, inflation was 50 cents to 54.
If you do that,
you are talking about indicators, I'm telling you.
You see, the thing is that
the thing is about money.
How to generate revenue.
It's about money.
He's telling us where he thinks that we've gone wrong as a country.
So you are Auditor General report, as we are talking this morning. Auditor General report. How many billions of cities? What Chachuchikata is simply saying is that if you had invested all this money into capital projects that can pay off and generate revenue, won't be where we are. Chachuchikata fears is that we are in a junk status. Debt is accumulated. Oh, please. Sabo, these are facts. And that, as I talked to you this morning, our debt is over 61 billion, as Mohammed Anta, your finance minister, put out there. It is not only there are other debts. I'm telling you, that is what, in fact, if you understand Chachikata's lecture and whether Ghana can rise again from the ashes, is that not it? Can we rise again from the ashes? Yes, there's hope. And that hope is the experience and former President John Dramani Mahama, who has amply demonstrated in the policy of our manifesto to reset Ghana and build a Ghana we all want. A Ghana that would end corruption. A Ghana that will end state capture. And all those who have looted and plundered the state to this level would go through forensic audit. Everything you've touched with your finger, even if you greeted someone who feel that it's corrupt, we would investigate it forensically, not just ordinary days. The COVID funds. Must I tell you what the COVID funds were used for? Must I tell you that you've closed everything? And let me say this. I said it yesterday. Look, this government under Nanado would want his pain is that he wants to hand over John Dramani Mahama. If he was handing over to him to this, that, or me, he would not be worried. The pain that is killing Nanado is that he's going to hand over to John Dramani Mahama, whether he wants it or not. Whether the electoral commission is going to manipulate the results, as my brother said this morning. No matter, look, elections are serious security matters. Right to vote is inalienable. The right to make a choice is inalienable. You can't take it away from the people. And when they make that choice, The votes must be counted. We are taking nothing less than the right votes to be counted and to declare the fellow transparently. There's no amount of manipulation of the voters register that can send the people who are already suffering their doldrums back. We are not going to hand over to the people of this country are not going to hand over that power to people who have managed them for the past 4 years and sunk this economy into junk.
Right.
Now, let me give you some few policy analysis that we talked about. No, it's in the same. No. That is not. Look, data shows, Thompson, the last year, non-traditional export alone gave us $4 billion. Non-traditional export. That's school money for you, green money for you. And data again shows that in the next 5 years, that green man I'm talking about will give you $25 billion from the Ghana Export Promotion Authority. President John Dramani, he said he himself is going to chair that thing. We are going to do what we are not saying that we are going to run away from borrowing, but we are going to do what we call standardized borrowing. And that borrowing, it is for this, the money must go there efficiently. If we are borrowing $100 million to build a road from here to Sanama, it must go straight to that. We are not going to borrow where a finance minister's a bank will be making over $160 million at the expense of the people of this country. We will not do that. We are not going to sit down and allow that. You sat down, the Attorney General sat down and allow a judgment debt of $134 million. Are you listening to me?
I'm listening to you.
To go. We are not going to sit down and allow 58 million to be used to dig the most expensive in order to bury Ghanaians. You think we should not hold people responsible? What is good governance? Someone willfully take the people's money behind the door without parliamentary approval and go and dig the hole. Do you know what 58 million people do to the people of Nima, to Sandema, to Paga, to Yaba Kubori? To where you come from and say you achieved this. Do you know what 58 million will do to them? Look, recently there's a rating from the World Bank telling us that our ratings for state institutions have moved from C to D. Can you imagine? Everything these people touch has been completely destroyed. I am hesitating to think that, you see...
Be wrapping up.
I'll be wrapping up very soon. It's so painful.
Be wrapping up.
No, very soon.
No.
Okay, at least the people understand. We would decap the GET fund, like he said. We would decap the National Health Insurance. Every fund will be used to the last penny to the benefit of the people of this country. We are not going to allow frivolous spending, stealing, just like John Dramani Mama warned all of us. While all of you are going through forensic audit, his own appointees must live a life of humility, a life that resonates well with the wishes and aspirations of the people of this country. What Nana Addo is practicing is what we call anocracy. It is not democracy.
All right, thank you very much.
A practice that only satisfies the whims and caprices of his friends and family, of his close friends, even appointment. You are changing names from a presidential secretary to ambassador plenipotentiary just so that they can have titles when they go and they are addressing them in public. So, ambassador this.
All right.
I brother, bathing in plain.
Thank
and
you
all
very
those
much.
things will stop. And I can assure our luminary, like all of you has accepted, our senior father, that he has lived through regimes and he knows what he's talking about. That this our manifesto has been written in simple language. The language is so sweet. I'll give him a copy. The language is sweet and very simple that everybody can read. When we went, just a split second, you know this woman who sell the octopus and they carry this on the way at Winneba Junction. I went there on Sunday morning to buy. Then the woman was saying that 30 cedis, 40 cedis. I said, what? So I was forced to buy 60. He gave me, I was holding it like, you know what the woman told me? She said, a fed dear mommy. 50 cities now to go in some sano. 50 cities. Nyama boy ye ding. Oh, tear me wet. And the woman went further to say that. Nanse mo who said bombe kasana no popo. Want to mean kasabim. Yes. And the woman went further. That woman went further to me that. Oh, you can. that who could see factory and one this. The woman was still, I was shocked. That woman chose one this one. So what I'm simple tell that even people that hitherto we thought that were not. No, I walked to them. And I even bought the kenke and the parcel and so on. The woman said, "Oh, now your factory. I'm a fancy man. Is it the one on the way to Cape Coast?
Yeah.
Is it Mankesim? Now the also on the women and those people who are selling understand where we are now.
All right.
This economy is junk.
Thank you very much.
Multi-dimensional poverty is telling us that even Kumasi, where you had your test, the highest is there.
All right, thank you very much.
Last year,
thank you.
8.3 people cannot get a meal to eat in a day.
All right, thank you, Timothy, very much. No, hold on, no. Because if I do that, everybody will respond and end the time. But so let me read a few messages and I'll come back. No, I gave time. Good morning to you, Kwame. Good morning, Kwame. 24-hour economy is a game changer. Said by TUC, IEA, SRC, Guba, Austin Gami. According to BBC, 24-hour promises to raise about $4 billion in few years. 24-hour means one job, 3 people, and 3 shifts in industry. Security, port services, medical care, banking, sanitation, etc. Thank you, Pa Willie, for your message. Now on Facebook, William Monday Jikunu says, good morning to you, KOD. This election is about credibility and economic health. Politicians will know if Ghanaians are happy or not on December 7th. No one can change our minds. Johnny Kujo says, good morning to you, KOD. Please tell Sabo that JDM will not debate someone who has no credibility and they're trying to lean on him to get some credibility for their candidates. Nasir Mohammed says, good morning to you, KOD and the team. It is my belief that the people of Ghana are quiet because they have the hope that they will have the opportunity to remove this MPP government peacefully. Unfortunately, the MPP and EC are bent on stopping us. This is outrageous and could be a trigger for the people to explode. So EC should be very careful. Yusuf Mohammed says, Mr. KOD, remind Sabo, John Bauer Abeduni Robert says, KOD, tell Sabo that if he is rich today, he should not mock Ghanaians. He shouldn't forget that 7th December election is at the corner. CN Al Hassan Fusheni says, KOD, good morning. Please tell Sabo, if you refuse to debate, you don't have to campaign. If you refuse to debate, don't you have to campaign? Didn't his party campaign in 2020 after their refusal to debate? Maiga Al-Munchar, watching from Bamako, Mali, says, good morning to KOD. Is it because I'm an NDC man? That's why the MPP communicators are explaining everything in Ghana. Does not make sense to me. Well, greetings to my MP, Kujeto Ablakwa. KOD, this one is from Edward Dugbaja. KOD, my biggest worry is that the majority of these MPP communicators only come to tell lies and do propaganda. Someone should tell us which economic indicators or services are working in Ghana now. It is even interesting to bring a number of these. Oh, my brother. Sabo said 80% of their promises have been fulfilled. Sabo must be under Baumia's influence. Suleiman Eliasu Balila says, my man is not okay. Mohammed Misbahuddin says, John Mahama is winning the 2024 elections. The power of the people is greater than the power. Kwame OWUSU DANSO, when will you come to Techiman? Mohammed in Techiman, Charlie, I have to come to Techiman. Suleiman Eliasu Balila, I think I've read your message already. And Sada said, I swear, if MPP is not a political party but a business organization, take it or leave it. Musa Abatwa, again, if we are talking about EC, I'm not talking about EC. And Sada says, the kind of mess this current government has done, if I see an unemployed youth defending this very government, it pains me so much. The youth of Ghana is the only problem in Ghana. They don't think for their future. They only think of the chop monies they receive from politicians. Kobensa in Pillar 2 says, 99 days more to the election. My fellow Ghanaians, let's vote for Dr. Baumia for more infrastructure. Special greetings to Mother of All, Honorable Nana Madokia, PC for Kaikwe North, and Lawyer Makukwe Junior, PC for Dome Kwabenya constituency. Kobensa Pillar 2. Tahir Ali says, my brother, if the president is a hypocrite, work and not be truthful to his people of the country must be kicked out. Okay. Mohammed says, good morning to KOD. Thank you. for taking the All African Games scandal to the special prosecutor. We must hold our leaders on the fire of accountability. Mohammed Intachiman, good morning to you, Kewari. Isaac Sadiq sent in this one. Now, let me go to the next topic for our conversation. I think I just have 7 minutes. Can you imagine how time flies when you're having fun? Mr. Sabo, time is up. We're having fun, and this one they pay me power. Anyway, let's see if we can touch on this briefly. Government releases 700 million bailout funds to pay defunct financial institution customers. I think it's some good news, not so, Sabo.
Yes, I think before I get to that one,
I need your good
yes, that doesn't matter.
No, so I'll give you. So 7 minutes. I'll go and split it.
For me, 7 minutes. So one day was just going over about.
That would be 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's do. So 2. Then 1 minute for the viewers.
I'm getting.
Please let's allow him. I beg you.
Yes. In his submission.
So 2 minutes, Sabo.
He made mention of the gold for oil, and he was saying that there's even a complaint that they don't even know how this thing is managed, and it's like Bank of Ghana. Yes, Bank of Ghana is spending so much on this gold for oil. This thing. For the records, I want our viewers to know that before this gold for oil, this thing, Ghana is a gold producer. I think the whole of West Africa, even Africa, we are the highest producer of gold, and yet our reserve was not even up to 3,000. When the UK and the rest are having hundreds of thousands of gold reserves and the rest, but since the inception for this of this gold for oil, this thing, our reserve has moved from 3,000 to 70,000. So this.
What reserve? Please. He has only 2 minutes. I beg you. Don't interject.
Gold reserve.
Leave him.
Yes. So that is for the record, and that is what it has, and it has also cushioned our the rate at which the fuel prices were increasing in this country.
Let's allow him, I beg you. But I have very little time.
I told you that the rate at which, maybe you didn't listen to me very well. The rate at which, quite apart from that, I think all in fact, the media, you are the middle decision in this particular decision. If you do care is not taken, the agenda that they are setting, excuse me to say, there is no anybody in this country today who does not know what is going on in this country. They are setting a particular agenda to, like, the EC is trying to rig the election. The EC is trying to cheat. The EC is on the side of MPP. So in case they lose the election, then they have something. Look, please, this thing, I think we should go speak with evidence. If you have issues with the EC, come out and say that the EC has done X, Y, Z. Okay. And based on that, let's look at the same people took the matter to court, a whole election decision to court. And when they were asked of their own evidence, even they were told that they should provide their own figures. They are giving them the opportunity. Give your own figure. What do you think the figures are? They could not even say anything. But they were going around the whole country. That they were cheated. They have their own resource in their hands and the rest. But what happened in court? So I think the people, NBC should be cautioned on this particular issue. I think it is not something healthy. As say, Kwame, we all have families, we all have lives and the rest. It is not going to leave anybody out. We should learn from other countries who went through this path. And I don't think Ghana should ever go through this
2 minutes.
Look.
2 minutes, and I'm watching.
When this country, when the Electoral Commission announced presidential results 6 times, not 5 times, 6 good times. And after the declaration, the one who announced the PRO, it was unconstitutional because he was not supposed to do it. He was made ambassador to Denmark, was beaten twice shy. We were not going to sit down, make the cheaters every day. 2, he should be telling Anado this. The president, the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, can stand on a platform, not once, not twice. Because we've seen president before. Kufuor said that whosoever wins, I'll hand over. He said he was going to do everything in his power. The hatred he has for John Dramani Mahama. Look, he's going to, and we will monitor. We are not going to take any election result except an election result that's going to reflect the true will of the people. The true will of the people. And he should be telling his youth organizer.
What happened?
What he should tell his, I'll come to that issue because you've been misinterpreting. I'm happy to do it. I'll tell
1 minute more.
1 minute more. Why tell a youth organizer who went on a platform and said that they were not going to sacrifice the elections on the platform of peace. Let him decode that statement.
Where did
1,
he say
2.
that? Where did he say that?
You allow me.
Yes, please.
We went to the Supreme Court to challenge the constitutionality of the declaration of the resource. We didn't go there with pink sheets. We went there to challenge the constitutionality of the declaration of the presidential resource. Because the constitution says that the federal must get 50 plus 1 before you are declared. Right. That's what I went. 2 on the money. No.
Your time is up. Your time is up. There's nothing I can do. Let me come to you. It's 59. 1 minute more. And so we have even eaten into his time.
Well, let me put to my brother. That's the statement he put here is palpably false.
Which one is that?
That Ghana's reserve, gold reserve, has moved from 3,000 to 70,000. It's palpably false. Kwame.
How so?
Yes, I'm coming.
It's false.
Kwame, gold for oil. See, I was at the NPA when they wanted to introduce the program. They invited we CSOs. They did a presentation to us. We gave them suggestions. They did not take. Kwame,
Prove me.
I'm coming. I'm coming. Let me make my point.
First, before you go to anybody, we don't say time that has beaten you.
My brother, let me. When I finish, you know why. When I finish, you know why what you said was false. Can you allow me?
Oh, please, let's allow him.
You see, you buy gold. See, gold is the ultimate currency. In the value of money, gold is even more precious than money. No sensible person takes gold and go and exchange it for oil. No sensible person. Again, the gold that Bank of Ghana is buying with PMMC, they take the gold to Dubai to a trading company. The gold is not put in our reserves. They buy the gold, they take it to a trading company in Dubai, a third-party trading company. We don't know how much gold they take to Dubai. We don't know how much they sell the gold to the middle person, and the proceeds they use, the proceeds, then when they don't tell us how much they get from selling the gold, then they only tell us how much oil they bring. My brother.
So let him finish.
I've told you why it is a lie. You made a categorical statement that before gold for oil, our reserve position, our gold reserve was only 3,000.
Yes.
And because of gold oil, our reserve are going to 70,000, which is a lie because the gold that Bank of Ghana is buying, they are not buying it for our reserves.
No, my friend, you don't know anything about this issue. You don't know.
You see, so my brother,
you should have been starting this premise.
So I thought you, my brother, you are not allowing me to make my point. Let me finish. The statement you made was false. No, it's a false statement. I didn't say you were lying. The statement is false. But anybody can make a false statement. That statement is false.
No. But
they are not buying gold for reserves. See, but the situation prove what he said. So can you allow me to prove why I said what he said is false?
This is the third time we allow you.
See, when they were doing the good for you, Kwame, we told them, government, that look, when you have gold, instead of buying the gold and going to give the gold to a third party, buy the gold and keep it in your reserve. Oh, can you allow me? You said I called you a liar. I'm explaining to you why you were a liar. You're not allowing me.
The statement was
made it false. You're not allowing me. When they wanted to do the gold, we told them that look, instead of buying the gold and going to give the gold to a third party, let Bank of Ghana buy the gold and keep it in their reserves, and then issue a gold. I'm coming. Can you allow me? Can you listen? Let me conclude this. Let me conclude.
Sabo.
The gold is not sitting.
Sabo. But is the gold sitting in the Bank of Ghana?
Yes, of course.
Where is it?
Go and check.
I'm going to check. I thought you had any other.
Stop this.
No, this kind of gang up, I'm not going to allow you to take. What kind of gang up? No, come not to talk. I am very serious on this issue. What
Allow him to speak.
How many times?
Let him make his point.
If he lands,
Has he been able to prove it?
Let's admit that he's not been able to prove it. He's just going around. Let's admit.
If the gold is sitting at the Bank of Ghana, where do they get money to buy the oil, to pay for the oil?
Which oil? No, which oil are you talking about?
The gas for oil.
Let me come. Right now, no, let me come. You're asking me a question. Let me answer your question. Right now, the price of oil in this country, just suppose or compare it to other prices.
No. He said the gold is at the price of oil. Where does the oil? See, listen. We gave them suggestions.
Okay. And they didn't take the suggestion.
They didn't take it.
All right.
We told them keep the gold in the. My brother.
Sabu. Sabu. You know my time is up. You are doing this. It's not nice. It's not nice. Sabu.
So we are not being fair. We are not being fair with you.
Sabu, no, you not being fair to you. Don't do that. No, don't pitch the viewers against me. Viewers, my time is up. We've ended the show. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
How many times?
Truly African.